That guy you just watched in that video, speaking to girls, speaking to strangers, that is me. But the important thing I want you to know is I was shy. I'm not a guy who was born naturally confident, who was able to just go up to people and start conversations. This is something I had to develop in my life. And in fact, I remember on my 10th birthday, my parents threw me a party and all my friends were dancing on the dance floor, but I was to the side, not dancing with anyone because I was shy. And this is something that followed me for much of my life. At the very least, up until university, I was still an introvert. I was not a guy who could easily mix with people. So in this video, I want to share with you some tips that I wish I could have given myself all those years back to become confident and charismatic much faster. And in particular, I'm going to share 4 tips. This is important for you if you're watching this and you can relate to going about your day and just feeling invisible, feeling like no one ever looks in your direction, no one notices you, and you just have that fear of connecting. You see girls around you that you might want to have conversations with, but you just don't have the balls to go up and do it smoothly. You don't feel like it's in your nature to do so. Maybe you have connections with your friends, family, but outside of that, you don't have any warmth in your life. Maybe there's some anger, some frustration. This is a video that will help you transform, a video that will help you to get past all that. Now, before I share my tips, there's something very important that I have to cover. This is something that will affect everything you do, not just relationships, fitness, your career, if you want to be in business, whatever it is that you pursue as a goal, whatever you want for your life, the way you think will determine whether or not you win. The way you think will determine whether you win or lose before you take any action. Now, as far as relationships, as far as going to people and connecting with them is concerned, especially for men, there are some excuses, there are some thoughts that hold you back that many people have. Think about this. Do you ever use the excuse that it's all about height? Do you ever think it's all about looks? Do you think the only thing that matters is your race, what country you're born in? And if you just don't have any of these 3, then you're stuck and you're not going to be successful in relationships. Now, this is a quick video, so I don't have the time to get into everything. But the question I would ask you is this. If you don't believe in yourself, why should any woman, why should any man, why should anyone else believe in you? And the second thing you need to investigate is this. If you have those excuses, do you see anyone who's the same as you, who is actually doing great in relationships? Because as far as there are other people getting things done in their relationships that look the same as you have no excuses. But at the end of the day, there's only so much I can say to convince you to change your beliefs. So the question you have to ask yourself finally is this. Do you want to keep those excuses, those reasons for the rest of your life and continue to lose? Or do you want to think about the fact that maybe you're wrong? Maybe there is a lot that you can still achieve, regardless of what's happened in the past. Do you want to lose for the rest of your life? Or do you want to do something different and win? Now, having addressed all that, I'm about to share the 4 tips that will help you get started with speaking to women confidently, charismatically. But again, this is a quick video. If you really want to go in depth, I have an ebook linked below this video, completely free, which you can download. But the first tip, the first mistake most people make is this. They imagine the worst case scenario. So you see a girl on the street, on the bus, wherever, you want to speak to her, and the fear starts to seep in. You imagine that she's not going to be nice. She's not going to be receptive. She's not going to be welcoming when you go over to her, especially when you see someone who might not be smiling, who seems like they're not having a great day, who's in a hurry. But you need to get past the negative expectations. You need to do the opposite. Visualize that you're about to have an amazing conversation, an amazing connection with this person. Is this going to guarantee success? No, but it will help you be more confident as you go up to that person, and that will improve your chances of having an amazing conversation. And negative expectations are not just in the moments, but overall, over time in your life as well. You need to get past the past, no pun intended. If you've had lots of situations where you've spoken with girls and it hasn't gone well, you cannot let this affect your future expectations. You cannot think that just because you haven't done well in the past, you're not capable of having an amazing conversation, an amazing interaction with a woman in the future. You need to get past the past. Imagine that the future can be great. When you go up to speak to that girl, when you go up to speak to that stranger, imagine yourself being charming. Imagine them smiling, enjoying your company. That is the best way. That is the best way to prepare your mind to speak confidently to any person. Listen, you cannot go by what you see on people's faces. There are so many times where I've seen a girl, she doesn't look happy, and I think, I don't think this girl will want to have a conversation. But you go over, you say hi, and it turns out that they were just deep in thought and they're a very nice person. It's an amazing conversation. So just don't ever go in with negative expectations. Even if it turns out to be true that they don't want to speak to you, that they're not in the mood, you need to put that aside for your next interaction, for your next conversation. You can't dwell on that last one or the last few that did not go well. Tip number 2 is daily practice. And this is basically work. It means putting in the time, putting in the effort, go out day by day, consistently, speak with different strangers, speak with different people. Now, for a lot of people out there, they don't want to do any work to get their dreams, to get their goals. But think about this. Imagine you've been eating whatever you want your entire life, and now you want to get in shape. Is that something that you're going to accomplish in one day? No, not if you've been eating crap for all your life, for years. If you've been eating crap for decades, for 10, 20, 15 years, then a couple months of diet is nothing compared to that. The same with relationships. If you haven't been bold, if you haven't been pushing yourself for the first 20 years of your life, the first 30 years of your life, if you've been seeing girls, women, and you haven't really approached consistently because you were afraid, you need to put in the time. You need to put in the days of reversing that, of actually pushing yourself to speak to someone. There's no one trick, one video you can just watch and immediately you become confident. You have to push yourself day by day. And relative to all the years where you did nothing, a few weeks is nothing compared. A few months of pushing yourself beyond your zone of comfort is nothing to build your confidence and your charisma. But my one tip is, from now on, from when you decide, go out each day and make a commitment to yourself that you will speak to. You can start with one girl, the next day 2 girls, the next day 3, 4, 5, and then you can keep it locked at 10. But each day, each week, you go out there and you push yourself to speak with strangers. Action is the only way that you will actually build the confidence muscles in your brain. Tip number 3 is this, and this is one I've made myself. You only speak, or you only push yourself to speak to a girl when you think she's your ideal girl. You only speak to people you're attracted to, but you need to be social in general. Go out and speak to strangers, not just women. Speak to men, speak to groups of people. If you see a grandma sitting on a bench, sit next to her, make her day, have a conversation with her. If you only speak to women when you're interested in them, there's only so much practice that you can get. There's only so much conversational skills that you can build. You need to be warm all the time. You need to always be speaking to people, not just when you think that they're going to be your next girlfriend. You need to always be developing that skill. My final tip is this. Many people, many guys just want the tactics. They want the perfect line. What can I say? What's the first word? What's the first sentence that I should say to this girl to make her like me? It's really not that simple. It goes beyond words. In fact, if there's one thing that gives you an advantage when you go up to a woman, It's the way you come across. You come like a king. You come like a boss. You come like you are worthy of attention, like you're about to have an amazing conversation. All of this shows itself in your body language. Most of the time when I go up to girls these days, the only thing I say is hi. I'm not trying to rush past hi to go to some incredible line. If something comes to mind, I'll say it. But the first thing I want to do is just go up to her, make eye contact, show my body language and my presence, and say hi. Body language is what you should be thinking of most of the time rather than the words that you should say. So those are my 4 tips. And I'm sorry I had to rush through. I'm trying to keep these videos short. But again, if you want more information, if you want more resources, check the link below the video and make sure you subscribe for more tips on confidence and charisma in the future. See you in the next one.